I've got a ton of energy because my man Tim Power on the call came over this morning and we did our cold plunge and our Wim Hof breathing and sat in my hot tub for about 10 minutes or so. So I'm fired up. Literally, I'm ready to rock and roll today. So I've got a ton of energy. But yeah, thanks for having me on the call, Kyle. And for those of you that don't know me, Pat Hayes here in San Antonio with eXp Realty. And I'm going to kind of share my whole story with you guys because a lot of you guys probably don't know my whole story. And, it's truly, truly life changing. And whenever I say those words to agents, they kind of look at me like I am crazy. Like, what is this guy smoking? How can a real estate brokerage firm, change my life? And so I just kind of want to share with you guys my whole story because I want you guys to take something, from the story and implement it into your business as well too, because this is a life-changing opportunity, not just for me, not just for Kyle, but for every one of you guys. I don't have a special deal. Kyle doesn't have a special deal. We all have the same opportunity right there in front of our face. And so ask yourself, how bad do you want it, right? And I wanted it bad. So a little bit about myself. Been selling real estate here in San Antonio for about 7.5 years. And I started my career at a small independent brokerage firm here in San Antonio called Czars and Rogers Realtors. But before that, I owned multiple businesses. And before that, right out of college, I went straight into medical sales, right? And so I did the whole corporate America thing. For 6 years, that's what my mom and dad wanted to do. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was a CFO for several big companies here in San Antonio. And that's what they made my sister and I do. Go to college, get that degree, get that education, and then go straight into corporate America. And so I wanted to do medical sales because I had friends doing it and they were making a lot of money, right? And I knew that they were working hard. I said, hey, I can work hard. I've got the work ethic. But you know what? I want to make a lot of money, right? And so I went straight into that. And I did that for about 6 years here in San Antonio. Very successful. Had a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people. Still friends with all those medical sales reps that I met all throughout the country. But after 6 years, I was just over the corporate America grind. I was over the rat race, and I had to do something else. And so I've always kind of been an entrepreneur at heart. While in college, I had my own landscaping company and yard maintenance company. I would mow like 50, 60 yards a week. Thursdays and Fridays after college, and then I would work at the car wash as a sales writer on Saturdays and Sundays, and I was making like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, in college, and I was making more money than my mom was as a school teacher with double master's degrees, right? And so I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to, work in corporate America for, 20 plus years and then, live only a few years off of retirement. And so I wanted to do something else after medical sales. So I had the opportunity to buy a senior home care franchise, which is called Caring Senior Service here in San Antonio. And my dad was a CFO at the time of the whole organization. And so basically it was a non-medical senior home care company up in Austin, Georgetown, and Marble Falls. I bought 3 franchises and combined them into one. And I didn't know anything about this business. I didn't know anything about the operations. I didn't know anything about the industry. I just knew it was my ticket to get out of corporate America, to be free, to be my own boss, right? And so I made the guy an offer. It was an underperforming office, and so he wanted to sell it. So I offered him $50,000, and he took it. And basically, we provided caregivers to go into the homes of the elderly, the senior community that they wanted to stay in their home and not go to a nursing home or assisted living, a facility like that. They wanted to stay in their home. So I brought in caregivers, and those caregivers basically helped them, fix their food and do laundry and be a companion with them and stuff like that, right? And so I grew this franchise from $250,000 in annual revenue to about $1.3 million in 3 years. And I knew I was just going to do it for a short amount of time, just an investment to get out of corporate America. And so I didn't even live in Austin, Texas at the time. I actually lived in Helotes, Texas at the time. I drove 2 hours up every day, worked for 4 hours, and drove 2 hours back every day for the first year. And then the second year, we moved to New Braunfels to get me a little bit closer to Austin. And then still then, it was about an hour and a half commute every day, worked for about 4 or 5 hours, an hour and a half commute back, right? And mind you, during this time, my wife and I just started a family. We just had boy-girl twins at the time. Whenever I threw, a nice 6-figure salary out the window, benefits, insurance, everything, and wanted to go and be an entrepreneur, right? And so a lot of moving parts at the time. And so I knew that I could do it. I just needed an opportunity to go and do it. And so that was my opportunity, right? And so I grew that, and like I said, from $250,000 to $1.3 million. Ended up selling it for over $350,000 3 years later, right? Hit a home run. It was great. Cashed out. And during my medical sales venture of 6 years, I ended up meeting a broker here in San Antonio at a pool at La Cantera, and he was in real estate. I said, hey, what do you do? He was a big farm and ranch guy. His name was Sheldon Growthhouse. He worked for, he was a broker of his own brokerage company, boutique brokerage company called Texas Ranch Sales. And I ended up getting my license, and he ended up sponsoring me. And I did a few deals kind of part-time back in 08 and 09. In ranches, obviously the market was crashing, and so ranches really weren't a big thing. And so I sold a few. I sold 2 ranches, some nice big paydays on ranches. And so then I put my license, inactive whenever I did the 3 years of that senior home care company. So whenever I sold that, I wanted to get back into real estate, but on the residential side. And so after I sold my company, a friend of mine approached me because he knew that I just had a big payday. He said, hey, man, I just came across this awesome investment opportunity. You just sold your company. You've got liquid cash. I'm looking to raise this much money. Do you want to be a partner in this digital media marketing company called the Yokel Network? I said, well, sure, let's talk about it. Show me the numbers. And so he showed me the numbers. And I said, yeah, dude, I've got it was $300,000 investment. I said, yeah, I've got $300,000. I'll invest with you. So basically, we were putting flat screen TVs in establishments all around San Antonio, like dentist office, doctor's offices, restaurants. And then we would go and sell advertisement from the restaurants or whoever wanted to advertise on the network, so we could actually help them grow their business, right? And so we did that for about 6 months. And then after 6 months, they wanted more money. They wanted more money. They wanted more money. They wanted more money. And I just wasn't that guy. I didn't have it. And so, we tried to make it all work. And after about 6 months, I threw my hands up and I literally just walked away and lost over $300,000 in that opportunity. And that's whenever I jumped right into real estate in 2014. It was my first full year whenever I joined that boutique brokerage firm. Actually, my partner, Cesar Torres, he was the one that introduced me to my boutique broker. So it was kind of tough losing that money, but then again, he helped me to kind of start my next venture into real estate. And so I joined that boutique brokerage firm called Czars and Rogers Realtors, and I was their first agent, and I helped them get their office to about 65 agents in about 2 years, right? And so my first full year, I did 3.2 million in production, really found my passion filling real estate, and I wanted to go to the next level. And the only way for me to do that back then was to become a team leader. So the next year, 2015, I created the Pat Hayes Group, hired 2 buyers agents, and then I took my business from $3.2 million in production to $12.5 million in production, 61 transactions that second year. And so I was working a lot. I was on that real estate, hamster wheel. I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, almost 7 days a week, still had the family, still growing, and sacrificing a lot for my business. And so, I was having a lot of fun, making a lot of money, really educating myself to be the best team leader that I could be. And then I ended up getting a life-changing phone call December of 2015. So after my second full year, I was on a up-and-comer list here in San Antonio of agents that get into the business and just really skyrocket. And so I was at the top of that list. And so Scott Lewis called me that day and said, hey, it was a Monday afternoon in December. I was coming home from working with one of my agents in New Braunfels, and I didn't know who the number was. I was actually on the phone with my dad. I said, hey, Dad, let me let you go. It might be a referral. I wanted to take the call. I took the call. It was Scott Lewis, wanting me to have an open mind to take a look at a new business model. And at that time, I said, no, I'm perfectly happy. I'm good. Thanks. No thanks. I'm just finishing my second year. We connected. He said, hey, let's have coffee in January. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I said, absolutely, good deal. Well, 1 hour later, this is where it gets pretty fun. 1 hour later, I got a call from one of my friends, said, hey, did you hear about your brokers in Austin? I said, what are you talking about? I knew they traveled back and forth. They were opening up their Austin office, and I was kind of helping with the San Antonio office at the time. And I said, no, what happened? I thought maybe they got in a car accident. He said, no, let me send you a screenshot. Are you sitting down? I was like, what? And so he sent me a screenshot, and I looked at the screen. And I was like, oh my gosh, my brokers were in the news for sexually assaulting one of our agents up in Austin. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, my whole real estate world turned upside down in literally seconds. And so I just thought, like, wow, this is crazy. That guy called me, Scott Lewis called me an hour ago wanting me to take a look at a new business model called eXp. I was like, I got to make a change. I can't be associated with this brokerage firm anymore. I need to make a change. So I went home, talked to my wife. She was blown away. She was like in tears. We're trying to put the kids in bed. And she said, hey, you need to give that guy Scott a call back. And so I friended him on Facebook that night, called him that next day, told him exactly what happened. He said, I had no idea who these people were. Can you meet with us tomorrow at 10? I said, absolutely, I'll be there. I told my parents everything. My dad and I went there, right? That meeting forever changed my life that next day. I walked into the meeting, a 45-minute meeting turned into 4 hours. I met Gene Frederick, Rob Flick, and Scott Lewis, and they sat there and showed me on a napkin, Gene Frederick did on a napkin and pieces of paper, the whole entire business model of eXp. And I was blown away. I said, I'm done, I'm in, let's do this, right? And so after 4 hours, we just had a great relationship, a meaningful conversations. I said, I'm all in, let's do that. 1 hour after I left that meeting, Craig Owen here in San Antonio, the largest KW broker, found out about what happened to my brokers, called me up and said, hey, you got to make a move, Pat. Let's do this. I've been trying to talk to you for 2 years to get out of that company. Come to KW. This is the time. Let's do it. And I said, well, Craig, I just met with all the leaders at eXp. I'm ready to hang my hat with them. He said, no, I know Gene, I know Scott, I know Rob, I know all of them. They left KW to go to eXp. I know them all. You don't want to do that. You don't want to associate yourself with them. I said, okay. I said, Craig, I respect you. I'll meet with you tomorrow for 1 hour. But I can't go to your office. I need to go somewhere else because agents probably know that I'm getting ready to make a move, but they don't really want to. I didn't want them to see me at KW. Then the whole world knows I'm moving. And so my dad and I went over to his house. He invited us over to his house in Sonterra, $1 million house over there on the golf course, beautiful house. We sat over there for literally 3 hours. At the end of the meeting, I said, hey, what are you going to offer me? I got to get ready to go. He says, Pat, I really want you to be a part of KW. This is what I'm going to offer you. I said, sure. What do you have? What do you got? He goes, I'm going to give you 100% commission for your team for 1 year. I'm going to give you a free office for a year. I'm going to give you rebranding, marketing, signs, all at my cost. I'm going to pay for it all. And I want you to make the move over with your team. I said, okay. I said, well, thanks. Yes, I need that if I make a move. I've got to rebrand myself and, new signs, new cards. Sure, I get that. Thank you. I said, let me ask you these 3 questions, Craig. He said, yeah, what do you got, Pat? I said, can you give me revenue share and not profit share? He said, no, I can't do that. It's not our business model. I said, okay. Second, can you give me stock? Can you give me equity awards in KW? No, we're not a publicly traded company. I can't do that. Okay. Third, can you give me at the time KV Core for free? Conversion for free to help me generate massive amounts of buyer and seller leads. And again, this was December of 2015. He said, no, I can't do that. That's not our model. I said, okay, Greg, you just help me make my decision. I'm going to eXp. And he literally looked at me and goes, wow, you're going to do good. And I said, Craig, it's not about doing good. It's about I have something to offer now that no one else has to offer. We're the first and only cloud-based agent-owned brokerage firm. Guys, and I've analyzed every single business model out there, and we have all made the right decision to be at the best brokerage firm a realtor can be at. And so since then, I moved my whole team over. So fast forward, I've been with eXp almost 5 years. Next month, crazy time flies, we're having fun. And I've been able to personally sponsor 39 agents to the organization. Out of those 39 agents, it's grown into close to 2,800 agents spanning 45 states, 5 Canadian provinces, and Australia, paying me a revenue share check last month. And I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this to motivate, because if I can do it, you guys can do it. I just had 2 years of real estate sales experience whenever I joined eXp. I saw the model, and I saw the vision, and I saw the opportunity, and I took action. Paid me over $104,000 last month in revenue share. The month before that was $112,000. The month before that, my best month ever, was $119,000 in revenue share, just from levels 1 through 6, because I don't have my 7th level unlocked. I'm losing about $35,000 to $40,000 a month on my 7th level right now. It's a lot of money, right? A lot of money. And so, guys, that's my story. Everybody has a story. Use my story. I didn't have a story whenever I started. I used Gene Frederick. I used Rob Flick. I used Scott Lewis's story. I was just a little old agent, 2 years in the industry whenever I joined eXp. I didn't have a massive following. I wasn't a Brent Gove. I wasn't a Rob Flick. I wasn't a Scott Lewis or Tracy Lewis. I was just Pat Hayes here, but I saw the model and I took action. And so, it's been a life-changing opportunity, and I know it's changed Kyle's life. It's, changed Tim's life, and a lot of other you guys on the call. John, I can't wait to come back up to New York and do presentations with you up there. That was so much fun. And guys, if you're not sharing the model, you need to. How bad do you want it? I wanted it bad. I didn't want to go back to corporate America. I had to make real estate work. I had to make real estate work. There was no questions about it. My wife was like, you better make real estate work, because I know you don't want to go back to corporate America, but if you're not going to make it work, you better get your butt back to corporate America. And so I didn't want to make it work. And so since then, I've been able to retire her from corporate America as well, too, with the revenue share. So I know you got some questions for me, Kyle.